is a comic scholar, writer, and filmmaker experienced in taking on one Goliath after another. To get approval to teach the first course on comic book folklore at any accredited university, he asked a university dean to recount Superman's famous origin, and then pointed out that the dean had just described the story of Moses. Michael has written some of our most enduring heroes' comic book adventures: Batman, The Shadow, The Spirit, Archie, but is best known for bringing our hero to the big screen as executive producer of every Batman movie since the 1980s. Originally, another giant battle, because studio executives at the time had trouble believing audiences would want a serious Batman. Introduction. Dennis O'Neil. Let us agree here at the beginning that Batman does not exist. Not anyway as you and I exist. You can't filch his social security number. You won't meet his third cousin at a party. You'll never follow him into a polling place, and you'll never press his flesh even if you spend your midnights lurking on rooftops. So, no present tense, living and breathing, genome-bearing reality for the Dark Knight. But although he is not real, he does have a reality, a kind of reality he shares with mythology, folklore, legends, imaginary friends, and, let us lower our voices, maybe even a deity or two. What I'm suggesting is that Batman is not just a fictional character. Oh, he is that, and once he was nothing more, but not now. I learned of this somewhat disconcerting reality years ago when, as the editor of Batman Comics, I presided over what became known in the Batman office of DC Comics as the telephone stunt. What happened was, we had a character, Batman's second sidekick and the second junior hero to be called Robin, whom we didn't much like. We suspected that a lot of readers shared our feelings. What to do? Overhaul his personality? Send him to some distant clime? Kill him? Kill him. We conjured up the telephone stunt. Our writer, Jim Starlin, put the kid into a situation that could do him in. We then gave the readers 3 days to decide Robin's fate. Call one phone number and he lives to fight another day. Call another and requiescat in pace. 3 days and over 10,000 calls later, the nays had it. R.I.P. Boy Wonder. Then, the aftermath. Big reaction. Lots of reporters and interviews and broadcasters and journalistic fuss. And I realized that I had been thinking of my job as producing fiction for a publishing backwater, comic books, and that I was wrong. My job was being in charge of post-industrial folklore. Batman, and Superman and Wonder Woman and maybe a few others, had been around so long in so many media that they were embedded in our collective psyches. Even folk who hadn't read a comic in years, even those who wouldn't read comics, knew, at least dimly, who these characters were and had some amorphous feeling for them. None of which changed my workday. Plots and cover copy and manuscript editing and long meetings, publishing stuff. Nor did it change what Batman was to me, a great vehicle for storytelling. But I now knew that he had something of the mythic in him. Like mythic heroes of old, he reflected the values of his time, though those values weren't constant, and that was good. That allowed him to retain popularity for, as I write this, 72 years and counting. He evolved. The essence of what his creators, Bill Finger and Bob Kane, brought to the party in 1939 hadn't changed much. The nocturnal vigilante endlessly and symbolically avenging his parents' murders. An origin tale, stark and simple and primal and, I submit, perfect. But virtually everything else did change over the decades. Costumes and supporting cast and crime-fighting gadgetry and the kinds of crime fought and the kinds of villains who perpetrated the crimes. The range of stories appearing under the Batman logo went from farcical to macabre, while always being a Batman. Not the Batman. There is no the Batman, but a Batman, one appropriate to whatever was contemporary. This plasticity not only kept Batman